Hello, boys and girls. Yesterday, we learned about an artist. Do you remember his name? His name was John James Audubon. Now, John James Audubon drew pictures of birds, all the birds of America, and he made the pictures the exact same size as the birds in real life. So little birds were little drawings, and big birds were giant drawings, and they got all put into a book, and the book was a giant book because it had to fit those giant birds. Because it was all the same size as the birds in real life. John James Audubon did so much for birds that there's a group called the National Audubon Society. And this group of people, what they do is that they protect birds and the places where birds live, because there's some birds that can only live in specific places. So the National Audubon Society protects those places so that the birds can live and be healthy. So this artist made drawings. John James Audubon made drawings, but his drawings didn't just sit in a book or sit on a wall. His drawings made people love birds so much that people made the Audubon Society because of him. And because of him, we now have birds that are protected, and we have bird homes and places where they live that are protected. So in honor of John James Audubon and the John James Audubon Society, we are going to draw a cardinal bird today. We are going to be drawing a cardinal. Now, John James Audubon drew his animals very realistically, but I thought it would be fun to do this one with just shapes. So we're going to be using mostly squares and triangles to do this. And you don't have to make these perfect. Just get like square-ish or triangle-ish, because art does not have to be perfect. So pretty close to the middle of your paper, we're gonna hop on over to about here. So kind of closer to the left, but still pretty close to the middle. We're going to do a square. Just as best a square as you can do. Now look at how big I drew it compared to the rest of my paper. It is still not teensy weensy, but not so giant that it takes up my whole paper. It is bigger than one finger, but smaller than two. Now, next to this, I'm going to draw another square. We're going to be doing lots of squares next to each other. And below this one, I'm going to do another one. My squares are wiggly, definitely not perfect, so it is okay. And we want these to be about the same size. Now we're going to connect this corner to this corner. And if I'm going too fast, please just pause the video and rewind. That pause button is your best friend. Connect those corners. Now we're going to do another square right here. And we want it to be, again, about the same size. Now we're going to do a triangle in this section. So I'm going to come from this top corner, and I'm going to go out as if I was doing a square, but then stop. And I'm going to connect a triangle from here to here. Just like that. Now, for this square, I'm going to make this one look like a house. So I'm going to do a diagonal line right here. So this one kind of looks like a house, and then that's the roof triangle. Now, from this angle, I'm going to pretend like this line just keeps on going, and this is going to be our bird's tail. Now I'm going to start from this corner right here, and I'm going to do a matching line. Now I'm going to go up and down to connect them. That is our bird's tail feathers. Now I'm going to do another square on top of this one right here. It's going to be about the same size. Now I'm going to put a triangle on top of this one. Cardinals have feathers that go on top of their head, and it makes kind of like a pointy triangle on the top. So I made this line go up as if I was doing another square, but I'm going to connect this end to this corner to get those feathers that are on the top of its head. Now I'm going to connect this corner to this corner. And again, if you need to pause and rewind, or you get lost or confused, just rewind and play again. If you have to watch this over and over, so that way you're not frustrated or confused, that's why it's a video. So that way you can do that. It is A-okay. So now, if you're at this step and you're ready to move on, I'm going to do a triangle on its face. This is going to be where its face is, because cardinals have a black splotch on their face. So I'm going to do a triangle right there. So I went from corner to corner, and that middle was right there. And I'm doing the exact same thing, but in reverse. And this is going to be its beak. Ooh, it is starting to look like a bird. Now I'm going to put feet, and I'm going to do the exact same kind of feet that I did in yesterday's bird video. So I'm going to do 2 lines, but I'm going to do these a little bit shorter, as if it's all crouched down. Then 2 little lines on the back. That's its heel. Then 3 lines for the feet, or for the toes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, and we're done with our drawing. So now, if you are at this step and you're ready to color, that's what I'm doing next. So I'm going to use red marker for the body, red crayon for the belly, orange for the beak, black for that black splotch on its face. So I'm going to outline the places that I want to keep, and then when I'm done outlining, I'm going to erase the lines that I don't need anymore. So I'm starting at the very tippy tip top. I'm just going on top of these lines as if my marker was a car and these lines are the road. So I'm going across, down on this diagonal. I'm going to go on this small triangle. Now I'm going to go back, down and over like an L, down and over. Now I'm going to go up at a diagonal, across and stop right there. Now I'm going to go up at a diagonal again, and up one last time. There. Now, the last thing I'm going to do with my red marker for the outlining is I'm just going to outline this parallelogram. That's the fancy word for what this is called. This parallelogram with my red marker. Just this one shape. Now, I'm going to outline the rest of this with the red crayon because the belly is slightly less red than the rest of its body, so we want to have 2 different types of reds. So I'm using red marker and red crayon. But if you have 2 different types of red marker, you could do that. Or if you have 2 different types of red crayon, you could do that too. So I'm coming down and at an angle. I'm going to go across the whole way. And then this last little line over here. Now just the beak, the black splotch, and the feet are left. So I'm going to do my orange. It's a good idea to save black for last because sometimes when you take lighter colors like orange or yellow and you color next to black, sometimes it can get messy. It's always a good idea to save black for last so it doesn't get messy all over the place. And I went ahead and colored the beak in. And now I get to color in for real, but first I want to erase these extra lines that I don't need. Okie dokie, all done. And if you want to, you can add in
a whole bunch of extra stuff. You could add snowflakes coming down because cardinals are really pretty in the white snow, or a branch for it to sit on. I would love to see what you guys come up with, and if you have any backgrounds, that'd be really pretty too. All right, have fun.